All right, so welcome to Woke Whiskey. I'm Brian,
I'm Kate.
and Woke Whiskey is just an excuse to get into intellectual and thoughtful discourse.
Or just like things that we like to talk about.
Yeah, so it's not going to be always be about social issues and political issues, and nor are we claiming to be
Woke.
the wokest. It's just hard to have conversations that aren't artificial, I think, nowadays. And I don't know, I think it's just, this would be a cool way to just learn stuff, and then if we do calls and things, we can learn from people who call in, learn from each other, and hopefully those of you listening learn something from us. Yeah.
I think the woke part comes from just current interesting topics, not from us claiming to be
I take it as I feel like at the end of this conversation, one of us or both of us will be enlightened in some way. That's how I take woke to mean, not necessarily I'm gonna pull the SJW card out or something. You know what I mean? But yeah, and every time we talk, as counterintuitive as it sounds, we'll be drinking bourbon or whiskey. All bourbons are whiskey, but not all whiskeys are bourbon. But yeah, so we'll always be drinking whiskey. And today we have
Slow and Low Rock and Rye.
Yes. I love Slow and Low.
It is an old fashioned in a bottle. Isn't that how they market it?
Yeah. So I think this would be a good gateway whiskey for people who don't like whiskey. I think you give them this, and they're it'll just put a smile on their face.
There are people who don't like whiskey.
As funny as that sounds.
Oh my.
Yeah, this is good. This is some good stuff. And it's not like it's like an old fashioned edition. This is just the point blank, the OG version of this. This is an old fashioned. So it's got, hints of orange peel, it's honey, bitters, rock candy. But yeah, Slow and Low. Find it at your finer local liquor store.
We'll get them to sponsor our next episode.
Yeah, and if any of you bourbon makers out there want to sponsor this podcast, just let me know, and we will promote your bourbon, only if it's good, though.
We never met a bourbon we didn't like. Let's be honest.
I think we'll come across one as we do this more often. All right, so 15 minutes on the clock. Today's topic is New Year's resolutions. Are they pointless? Yeah, let's go. Yeah.
Are they pointless?
I think the timing is good for this one.
That's true. That is, a timely topic.
'Tis the season. All right, so for me, I do think New Year's resolutions are pointless.
Tell us why.
I just think that they're just why. Okay, so I get why, but I think the timing and everything is just this so arbitrary, and I believe in goals. I do not believe in New Year's resolutions, and I do think the two are very different.
I would say, isn't a New Year's resolution just a type of goal? Isn't it just a subcategory of goals?
I don't think so. I feel like New Year's resolutions are supposed to be this excuse to kind of take wherever your life is going and turn it around. And I don't see why you can't do that at any point during the year.
I think that's true. I think it is kind of arbitrary, the timing, but a lot of people get to the end of the year and it's a time of reflecting back and thinking about what you did this year that you're happy about, and also what you didn't do. So I think that's kind of where the culture of it comes from. Is you're already sort of reflecting on what you want for the next year. And a lot of people do kind of think of their life in chapters, so each year as you're looking forward, that it is like a time that people set goals, you know, even if it is sort of arbitrary.
So would you say it's like clean slate, new year, new me, clean slate? Let's go at it that way. So wait, so do you don't think they're pointless?
I wouldn't say they're pointless for everyone. Like, I've never really been someone that sets New Year's resolutions, but I like get where it comes from. I don't think it's pointless. I think it can be if you're doing it, I don't know, like unrealistically maybe, where it's just like January 1st, I'm going to just completely like turn my life around, you know. But I wouldn't say they're pointless, because I do think for some people that like extra nudge sort of like, this is the time, can be beneficial, you know. Whereas like otherwise, if it's just like, oh, it's September 12th, like, oh, this is the day, you know. Like, I think for a lot of people it's like, okay, this, you know, it's a new year, so they kind of get in that mindset. And it might, you know, for some people that might be like the nudge that they need to actually like commit to something and get started.
Do you think most people accomplish their resolutions?
No.
No.
I don't think a lot of people do.
And you make 100% of the New Year's resolutions you don't set. So
cynical.
So I think more people make resolutions that they don't set than those who make resolutions that they do set. I think people kind of just jump gung-ho into this rebranding of themselves, and social media doesn't make it any better. But it kind of reminds me of like certain holidays where, you know, it's this new year, new me. It's a good time for gyms to make money. It's a good time for a lot of places to make money off that holiday season high. I do believe that people should set goals. I do feel like most resolutions are brought into existence prior to the ball dropping. I don't see why you can say to yourself, I'm gonna lose 100 pounds this year. I'll wait until the ball drops to start that. I feel like you should just go ahead and start it December 19th. And that no longer makes it like a New Year's resolution. It makes it like just a regular goal. I think all of us should have goals. I just don't think we should all go around making up New Year's resolutions to be brand new people.
I agree with that part of it. Like, I think the resolution part can make it like depressing if you don't get it, because with a goal, it's sort of like, you know, this thing that you're like shooting towards. And I don't know, like the resolution part is sort of like, I don't know, like black and white. Like, I either get it, I committed to it and I did it, or like I failed. So, but like you were talking about, you know, losing weight or whatever. If my resolution is I'm going to lose 100 pounds and I don't make the resolution, but say I lose like 50 pounds, you know, I failed my resolution, but did I do better than if I hadn't even tried? I would say yes. Okay.
In that sense, I mean, I agree with you there. So New Year's resolutions are half pointless then?
I think, no, I wouldn't say, I still don't like to say that they're pointless, because I don't know, maybe just sort of like the way people think about them isn't always the most helpful. Like, you know, if I do a resolution for something and then it's like January 20th and I've already failed, you know, I said I was going to go to the gym this many times and I'm not doing it.
Well, then you just go back and modify the resolution you set, right?
No, exactly. So I think if you think of resolutions more as goals and don't like get discouraged if you don't get them.
Well, do you think people set realistic resolutions to begin with? I feel like most people
that's like half the problem. Yeah, I think that's half the problem. So if it's like, okay, yeah, maybe you're right. If people are more like realistic in setting their resolutions, will they feel more successful, even if maybe they're not like doing as much as they want? I don't know.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. I feel like most of these resolutions can only be set by like Olympic athletes or like professional all-stars. Like
you mean like the resolutions you see people making?
For the most part, yeah. I mean, if someone says, I'm going to eat less and burn more, I think that is a broad enough resolution to go ahead and do. Now, if you say I'm going to go to the gym 7 days a week, cold turkey, I don't think that's possible. Like if we well, you, because I don't run 30 miles a week, but if you told yourself, I want to run 35 miles a week next year, and right now you're hitting like what, 30, 31, 20, 25, 30, I think that's a doable resolution. Now, if you said I wanted to hit 50 miles a week, I think that would be crazy, but I don't think you're the kind of person who would make obscene resolutions, but I don't think you would make resolutions to begin with. I think you have goals, and you set goals, and you make sure that they're realistic and attainable.
And I think it also helps to have like an end game in sight.
Yeah.
Like if I was trying to hit that kind of mileage, I would need like a race that I'm training for or something, like an end goal to keep me accountable and keep me like motivated.
Which is the reason why I buy tickets for these races. Like leading up to the race, I need to make sure that, I'm not gonna like enter for a Spartan race and not train for it, because you're gonna have a bad time during that race. So I think those are good ways to set goals and obtain them. Now, if you set a resolution for like, I want to do, this or that, and you have to train to that to get to where you need to be to do this or that, and the timing fits, fine, call it a resolution. I still think it's just a goal that you happen to set during this trendy time of year we call goals resolutions. But yeah, I think for the most part, New Year's resolutions are pointless. Some ASMR right there.
Yeah. Well, I think like that you were reminding me of like the other part of it is not just setting the goal, but then like keeping yourself accountable and motivated for it. And a year is a long time. So I don't know, there's like a whole psychology, right, of like keeping your goals. One is like public accountability, like if you tell your friends you're doing something,
like a skate video.
Yeah, no, exactly. Like that's the way to keep yourself accountable, right? Short-term goals. So if you're doing, like weight loss is a common one, right? But if it's not just like I'm going to lose 100 pounds in a year, there's no way to like track your progress unless you have like shorter term goals,
Yeah.
So we're talking about like why people don't keep the resolution. I think a lot of people don't have like a system in place.
Yeah, they're focused on the forest and they don't see the trees. So, yeah.
By the way, I'm not claiming to be an expert on meeting your goals.
Well, no, I mean, I feel like as teachers, we, present students with these challenges to sharpen the sword, so to speak. They come to us as like just dull, and we're supposed to make them sharp in a literal sense. And you can't, we have this whole curriculum to cover in 180 days, and we have to pace it. Like, we can't just say it's September 1st. By the end of the year, you're going to be able to split the atom. It doesn't work that way. So I think we understand accountability. We understand goal setting, not just for adolescent minds, but for ourselves. I think we, as humans, try to avoid disappointment, but some people are just so eager to get from point A to point B that their point B really should have been a Z, and it doesn't work out in the end. But I mean, I personally haven't seen you set any crazy goals, so
resolutions,
so I can vouch for you. Like me, I had no resolutions. 2019, I'm gonna just do what I always do.
But do you have any goals though?
Do I have goals?
Yes.
Every morning I wake up, I have a goal. Be able to live throughout the day. The pursuit of happiness. That is exactly right there. That covers all my bases. Okay. And are you looking for specific goals?
Well, I think if you're talking about like, do you evaluate at the end of the day if you met your goal? Do you have like
for the day
progress monitoring of some kind? Like if you're saying that's your goal, like how do you know when you've achieved that no. you have it broken down into more specific?
I mean, I just at the end of the day, I look back on my whole day. I'm like, all right, I think I did good. Or like, no, I should have graded those papers today or something like that. Now, is it like, do I want to go to Machu Picchu in 2019? You mean goals like that?
Yeah.
I'm more of just like okay, I feel like going to Australia. Can I go to Australia? No? All right, we'll revisit that. I'm not sitting here like Japan. I guess I would say that, yeah, when I was a kid, I was like, I want to go to Japan one day. Did I make it a goal for me to obtain? No. Most of the stuff I do is like, I wouldn't say impulse. I think I'm too strategic for impulse, but I see an opening, I take it. That's really what it is.
Yeah, I think there's like definitely value in that because you're not going to be like disappointed and you're more sort of able to like take advantage of things as they arise. But do you think there's a benefit to like delineating your goals further so that, you know, you don't reach an age where you're like, man, I always wanted to go to Japan. I just, you know, never made it happen. Never really realized
I feel like that's a part of my pursuit of happiness thing. Like if I am 80 years old and I look back and say, man, I really wish I'd gone to Japan. Did I really want to go to Japan? If it's like dawning on me now to have like think back and then be disappointed. I don't know. I think about future Brian all the time. It's like, hey, should I put these leftovers in the fridge or leave them on the counter? Well, what's going to help future Brian out? Future Brian's going to come out to some moldy pasta. You know, I messed up. So same thing here. If I didn't buy those tickets to Tokyo, I feel like future Brian would have been disappointed in past Brian. Like, you just got to set yourself up for the future. You should do things like when you're presented with the choice, it's like, if I don't do this or if I do this, am I going to regret it tomorrow, next month, next year?
Next year.
That's
if I didn't make this resolution.
All right. It's all right. We're gonna. Okay, so I still think they're pointless. You never told the folks at home what your stance was on the matter. I think you did not think they were pointless.
Yeah.
And I can see, you know, it's better to set resolutions than to not set resolutions, is what you're saying?
I think so, yes. I think there's ways to make them more useful, like how to hold yourself accountable and like, you know, set realistic resolutions that you'll be more likely to keep and feel successful. But I wouldn't say that like as a whole, just blanket statement, all New Year's resolutions are pointless or the habit of making them is pointless. I do think there's some benefit at the end of the year at just like reflecting back on where you are and setting plans and goals for the upcoming months.
I agree with some of what you said.
Have some more whiskey and then.
Have you had any of your whiskey?
Yeah, of course.
No, you haven't. Watching your water goals. All right, so we're gonna conclude here. Okay, the fire's out. I'm gonna restoke that. But yeah, that was the first episode of Woke Whiskey, and we will try to be consistent and all that stuff. If you have any recommendations for future topics, let us know. And Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Go and set those resolutions. Pikes.